Until they pay the tribute, being brought low. How exactly do you bring a Christian low by making them pay a tax? Please explain to me. Are you willing to say Islamic State is anti-Islamic? Can you say that, please?
We didn't say it's anti-Islamic. We didn't just because that's anti-Islamic.
So is it Islamic or not?
No, it isn't.
Is this the Quran?
The true Quran. No, it's not the true Quran.
Why is the Islamic Dawah Society spreading this lie if this is not the Quran? Can you read Arabic?
I can read it, I can't translate it.
So you can read Arabic, you won't understand what it says.
Yeah, I'm trying to
So
learn.
clearly then you can't be a Muslim. We have also found that the Quran says sun sets in a black muddy pool of water. You did not explain that. All that you said was this is not a good translation. Can you agree that?
No, I said it's not the Quran because it's not.
Can you agree with this? Is this a good translation or not? There are only two options. So this is a good translation. So according to this translation, the sun sets in a black muddy pool of water. You're happy with that scientific statement?
As I already told you, the Quran is.
Are you happy with this statement? If it's a good translation, does the sun set in a black muddy pool of water?
In Arabic, which the Quran is in, that's not what it implies. So that point is better at the popular.
Is this a good translation or not?
Yes, but it's not the Quran because the Quran is in Arabic, and in
The
Arabic.
question is simple. Is this a good translation or not?
I already answered the question. I've said yes.
If the translation is good, stick to this. Don't run and hide in Arabic. Don't run and hide.
Hide. The Quran is
If
in Arabic.
this is
What
a
do you
good-
hide? You're hiding with the English.
Do you know Arabic?
Should I have to?
I mean, to understand the
No. Should I have to or not?
To critically analyze, yes.
To be able to make a claim on a verse, I think you should
Do you know about this? What does it say, sir?
glorious Quran.
What does it say? Translated by who? Do you understand the process of translation? What is the process of translation?
I don't understand.
You don't understand the process of translation.
I understand in as much as that it
Process of translation.
You understand what?
of the meaning. Of
Excuse me, sir. What? No. Excuse me. The word translation. The word translation is a word that we use in everyday world. What does the word mean?
translation.
Yes,
It just means another way of saying the same thing, technically.
precisely. So in another language, you are no. Before you, however, in another language, you convey what is conveyed in Arabic. That is the translation of the Quran, and the language used here is English. If you should either say this is a good translation or not.
I did say it's a good translation.
He says this is a good translation, and therefore that implies what shows up here as a statement in English accurately represents what is there in Arabic.
So it represents that 100%.
What that is what the word translation means.
100%.
Well, you tell me, what is this? What percent is this?
Does it? I know that's what I'm
How? So give me a percent. How good is this translation?
I haven't
Even
looked
if it
at
was
the translator.
99%,
I don't know who
that's not enough to
translated
do a
it.
critical
There's different
assessment.
people that translate the Quran, so I can't say for sure. I don't even know who that name is, so I can't say for sure how accurate that is. But anyhow, I wanted to ask you about the language that Jesus spoke and the language of the Bible.
Why do you want to talk about that now?
Because I
We're
want
talking
to-
about the Quran.
Yeah, but you're explaining the differences.
I am talking about the Quran. So clearly, this is not the Quran. Did you see the? What is that, sir?
This is not the Quran.
This is not the Quran. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? So clearly, this is not the Quran, according to these Muslims. When this is not the Quran, why are they giving out these
It's an
in
English
tables
translation of the Quran.
across the nation in Islamic Dawah stands? If this is not the Quran, what is this? If this is not the Quran,
Everyone can speak Arabic.
if this is not the Quran, what is this? Excuse me, sir. Don't give me gibberish. If this is not the Quran, what is this? If this is not the Quran, what is this? Yes, please.
I just wanted to say that is a translation of the interpretation of the Arabic language.
The translation interpretation,
Now that Arabic
the
language
translation
changed
of the
since it was
interpretation of the Republic of Korea. What nonsense are you
When
saying?
you propagate, you never propagate Christianity. All
Yeah.
you do, you try to criticize. I've never heard you guys
Because
ever
if he
preach
does, it'll get
about
battered
Christianity.
out.
Not one time.
How long have you been here?
How can we do
How many?
preach about
How many times have you been here at the park?
This is my dad
Be a man.
How many? How many times?
No. We don't get shut down. We preach it, but the building outsiders run away.
How many times have you been at the park?
That's what I'm saying, but you're
How many times have you been at the park?
Even Ali Dawah.
I've been coming since I was a kid. My dad's been teaching me since knee high.
The question asked is not from when. The question is how many times?
We're going to hit with polemics anyway, so what do you want?
Are you going to speak about Christ? All I ask
Do you guys know the difference between asking the question how many times versus from when? Do you know the difference?
Why don't the Jews who follow the Old Testament?
So why did some of the Jews of the Old Testament, why did some of the Jews of the Old Testament not believe he was the Son of God and kill him crucified?
Yeah, but I also have a question. Why do some of the Christians?
The Jews who follow the New
That's
Testament.
right. So what I'm trying to say to you is,
didn't ask my question.
do you know what a Messianic Jew is?
You didn't ask
Do you know what a Messianic Jew is?
Yes, I do, but you didn't ask my question.
Answer what a
Why would
Messianic
I
Jew
answer your
is.
question if you haven't answered mine?
Should I tell you what a Messianic Jew is?
There are atheist Jews. It doesn't mean anything. There are Jews that
Are you going to answer my
The
question?
question that you just asked is, why don't the Jews, believe?
No, that's not.
Yeah, go on.
I said, you believe that the Old Testament has been perfectly preserved. Why don't the Jews that have followed the Old Testament and the Jewish law, why don't they take what you believe?
Why are they monotheists anymore?
It's just the same way like some of them crucified, because some don't believe that he's the Messiah, and they've got that right and that prerogative, just like you
You
have.
just stop saying some. All the Jews and the Jews decide to take Jesus.
You can't tell me not what to say because it is some. You can't eradicate what is truth and is fact. So what? No, it's not all. That's why we have. Have you heard of Dr. Michael Brown? Question. Hang on a second. You just made. You just made a generalization. You said Jews. Hang on a second. So stop running. So stop running. Stop running and answer the question. Have you heard of Dr. Michael Brown?
Just say no. No, we haven't heard of him.
Okay, so let me talk to you because he's not answering the question. Have you heard of Dr. Michael Brown?
He is answering the question.
What ethnicity do
We
you
don't know him.
on the
So explain.
What is he a Jew that believes that? And he believes that
There
Christ?
you
Okay,
go.
thank you.
And he
But
believes
that
Christ
doesn't
is
mean that he has
God.
an
So what
He's
I'm
not
trying
a
to
Jew.
say is,
He's not a Jew. If you believe Christ is God,
how is he not a Jew if he's a blood?
No. Darren, did you see the problem here? The moment someone believes in Christ, he is going to categorize them.
That is a fallacy. That's a fallacious
No,
statement.
but we're getting off topic. I just wanted to answer
If
your
you're
question.
practicing Judaism,
I just wanted to know.
that if you're coming to me, sorry, I'll come straight back to you.
After this, alright.
If you're saying Judaism, those who believe in Judaism, of course, rabbinic Jews are not going to believe that Christ is the Messiah, right? Yeah, but you never explained it as Judaism. You're saying Jews per se as an ethnic group.
But then you can say the same thing about
No,
Christianity.
it's you're the one who's articulate. You need to articulate yourself better.
Have you ever
So
heard
that
of
you
about
go-
theology. I'm not going to be talking about some American Jew that doesn't believe in
Yeah, I've heard there's many different sides.
Ebonites,
Yeah.
right? The people that lived during Christ's time
Yeah.
that believed in monotheism,
Yeah.
that practice like Muslims actually practice.
Yeah.
So isn't that kind of the same logic that you're following with Jews?
Who? Sorry, who?
The Ebionites.
Ebionites lived during the time of Jesus Christ.
Or after Jesus Christ, sorry, after Jesus Christ.
How after Jesus Christ? What evidence exists for Ebionites?
What evidence? Historic evidence.
What evidence? What evidence?
I don't have any
There
evidence.
is no evidence.
There's no evidence.
There's no
So
evidence.
why do people
I
believe
want to go
in
back to
Ebionites?
Jews.
Well, Muslims believe in them.
And Christians
Believe it.
don't? I've heard many Christian preachers here accept Ebionites existing. You're just saying they outright don't exist.
There is a book called Book of the Gospel of Ebionites, which come well after the time of Jesus Christ from the Arabic heartland.
like the rest of your Gospels.
How after Jesus? I don't know.
From the I don't know the precise dates, but does not come from the first century and does not come from the nation of Israel. As in regards to the people group called Ebionites, apart from this book, there exists no archaeological evidence for their existence. None at all. None whatsoever. And so this is, but Muslims cling on to them. Muslims cling on to them because that makes their case convenient. That's the only reason. Apart from that, there is no evidence.
Okay, well, I don't have evidence, so I won't argue.
What's your name?
Zachariah,
Zakaria, where are you from?
Pakistan.
From Pakistan. That's good. Are you Shia Muslim, Sunni Muslim?
I'm Sunni.
Sunni.
I'm Muslim.
So, Zachariah,
Christian or Catholic?
I'm a Protestant.
Okay.
Coming to you. Islam is a total lie.
can't prove that.
Let's just let him substantiate.
Islam is a total lie.
All right, cool.
Islam says that Islamic Allah sent out 124,000 prophets across the world throughout time. 124,000. Yeah. Can you name a few of these outside of the Bible?
Outside of the Bible or the
Outside of the Bible.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
No. Question is simple. Question is simple. If there were 124,000 prophets, so let's deal with this. 124,000 people, prophets. I'm assuming you would appreciate that they would have had signs and wonders. No. Wait. 124,000.
Yeah.
124,000 people with signs and wonders and so on throughout time, and you are saying there exists no evidence of any of them outside of the Bible?
And the Quran?
Does that?
Just the Bible?
Da-
The Quran. Outside of the Quran.
Well, the Quran doesn't give any prophet. So leave behind the
It
Quran.
gives names of prophets, of course it gives names of
The Quran does not.
Dawood.
Musa is not a name.
Musa's not a name.
It's not a name.
Moses,
The de-Latinized name, Musa.
It's Jesus.
Musa is not a Hebrew name.
I don't know. Musa.
Moses is a Hebrew prophet. His works are here. No problem. In the Bible.
And the Quran?
The Quran is, as we are talking about so far, is a book which doesn't give you meaningful statements. Bring all the statements of the Quran, you don't learn much. And so the point simply is, let's leave behind the Quran.
Let him continue lying.
Let's leave behind the Quran. We are talking about the Bible.
Right.
Outside of the Bible, do you have any evidence for 124,000 prophets?
What does that mean? What does that say?
It means Islam is a whole bucket full of lies.
Why? Why though?
In the Bible,
Yeah.
do you know how many prophets are there in the Bible? About?
How many?
Approximately.
Do you know? I don't know. You tell me.
Approximately.
I don't know. I'm asking.
You tell us.
Approximately about 50 prophets. 50 great men of God. Approximately. And what do we know from these 50 people? What is the evidence for the 50 people? How many people follow them? You can see today about 1 billion plus people follow them. If that is the case for about 50 people, how about for 124,000? Can you even believe this? Can you grapple with this, please? For 50 people, if the impact that they have had is such a monumental impact, just for about 50 people, how much could you expect from about 124,000? How much could you expect? Excuse me, how much could you expect?
You know what we believe about those prophets.
Impact from 124,000 people, prophets.
So the names that you're quoting in the Bible.
How much can you
I'm trying to
expect?
answer you.
Yes.
The names in the Bible that you're talking about. Why do you believe that they're accurate? Why do you believe that those people existed? What I'm asking is, why do you trust the Bible? Basically, that's my question.
How does that have anything to do with the 124,000 question I'm asking?
Because you're saying that there's names in the Bible that talk about prophets, and you're saying that those names don't exist in the Quran, and so therefore the Quran is a lie. What I'm trying
That's
to say,
not the point I'm
what
making.
I'm trying to say is that
You've
the
got my
Bible
point
contains
wrong.
Many inconsistencies within it. For example, the
Give me a name again, please.
Zechariah.
Zechariah.
The genealogies in Mark and Luke, for example,
Zechariah.
they're different. So therefore, if there's different lineage going from Abraham to Jesus, if the lineage is 14 in Luke, for example, and multiple more in I think it's Matthew, then how do you reconcile the differences in names? The fact that
Zechariah,
they're different
do you
names-
understand the word deviation?
Yeah.
Detraction.
Right, yeah.
Understand those words?
So-
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm asking you to defend. I'm asking you to defend Islam.
Yeah.
You're now talking about the Bible.
Loudly.
About Islam, the question. Hey, brother.
Dialogue with them now.
Zechariah.
So loud. Look, listen, I just want to have a discussion. Don't talk like really loud.
Well, there are many other people here, so
There's only us two, right?
I'd like to speak to many other people. Don't worry.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Zechariah, the question is simple.
Yeah.
If
But I asked you a question first, though. I said
Whoa. Who asked the question first? Was it him or me? Who asked the question first?
You asked me and I answered, and then I gave
No,
my
you didn't
question.
answer me anything. I'm asking you,
but my answer
if
was
50 people, around 50 people, could have caused the impact that they caused, how much could you expect from about 124,000 similar prophets?
I don't understand this question.
How many? The Islam says,
This is a discussion.
you said,
I know you're preaching, but you're not discussing.
you said you
You want to
had.
listen or do you want to talk? Exactly.
I want clarifications. I want you to understand,
I'm
Zachariah.
trying to understand.
I want you to understand that Islam spreads a whole load of lies.
I believe that.
I want you
believe
to
that.
understand
I
that.
believe that you believe that.
I'm not asking you for my. I'm not asking you to empathize with me. I'm asking you to listen to my points. The evidence that I'm providing. The evidence that I'm providing. I'd like you to listen to.
I'm saying the evidence you're providing is from a Bible that's been corrupted. That's what I'm trying to
The
say.
evidence I'm providing is from Islam, not from the Bible.
You're talking about the
Islam says
Bible. Are you talking about the
no.
Quran or the Bible? You keep
Listen to me, please. You clearly have misunderstood. Islam says, not the Bible. Islam says, Islamic Allah sent 124,000 prophets across the world. Islam says that. Do you know of any of these?
And that makes it wrong? Why does that make it wrong?
Clearly.
How? No, why? Why does that make it wrong and a lie? Why does all the prophecies, all the scientific miracles, all of the mathematical impossibilities...
Which mathematical impossibility? What are you talking about?
For example, in the Quran, I can't point it out, like in a verse, but in the Quran, if you look, there's words such as, I've written it down, but there's words that come, for example, day, the word day, yawm, comes 365 times in the whole Quran. The
And
word
what does
month-
that make it?
The word month comes 12 times. The word, there's specific like repentance.
What does that
for
mean?
example. All of these words become, when you compile the whole Quran in one, it shows that even a man that was illiterate, didn't understand numbers, letters, anything, he made a whole Quran which came over 23 years, and there happened to be words that came exactly the same times mathematically. That didn't have to do with the same verse. Like day, it happened to be 365 times in the whole Quran. That's just one example of the mathematical.
Please read verses 83 to 86, please.
Right, well, if I'm going to do that, then you got to read.
Please
your
read,
own
please
Bible.
read.
Then you got to read your own Bible.
Please read.
If you're going to shoot,
No, I like. Please read.
Do I know Arabic? Do I know Arabic? Do you know Arabic?
This is English. Don't worry. This is
Yeah, I know
English.
that stuff. That's
This is
what
an
I-
English translation. Please don't worry. Please read this. Would you like to read this?
No, I do not want to.
Zechariah-
I don't speak Arabic, so I'm not well versed enough to explain the verse. If don't know Arabic, I can't.
I
explain
thought
the
you were
verse.
explaining to me about 365 and 12 and everything
Yeah,
else.
mathematical. I can do that because I don't need to know Arabic to do that. I do need to know.
Do you
Arabic
need to know
be able
Arabic to read an English text?
I do need to know Arabic to be able to transliterate what exactly.
I'm not
that
asking you to
means.
transliterate. I'm asking you to
No,
read
you
some
are.
English
You are,
statements.
because then you're gonna.
English. English.
I'm not because
Zechariah,
Arabic,
English.
The original way it was revealed.
English.
What was the Bible revealed?
Are you an English speaker, sir? Can you read English? Please, can you read this for us?
You're Muslim. Don't take from him. He's a liar. Don't take from him. He's already been.
Don't listen to them. They can't think for themselves. Please
He's not
read
going
this.
to let you speak, so don't take it from him. Thank you.
You don't want to read. Are you Muslim, sir? This is your Quran, sir.
To somebody that knows Arabic.
What's that? Well, that's the Quran.
He's not going to let you speak.
If you translate the Quran from Arabic into English, what do you get? Translation. But what is the content? Where is the content from? Is this from Harry Potter? Is this from the Lord of the Rings? What's that? What's that? It's a human translation. Do you know of any translations which is not human? So clearly we are happy with human translations. So can I please ask you, sir, what's that?
Thank you.
Have I ever read the original text in Arabic? Why should I care? Even the English does not make much sense. Why should I care to read in Arabic?
Because that was the word.
Excuse me, sir. Please answer my simple question. Would you be bold enough to read? Would you be bold enough to read the English translation of the Quran? Would you be bold enough? Or are you ashamed, sir? Are you ashamed of your Quran, sir? Are you not ashamed of your Quran? Then can you please read this for us? We need your help. We really need your help. That's what we are trying to do here. Which Muslim here can read English? Anyone who can read English? What? Okay, please. Okay, see, he can help us, yeah? Hey, please answer this.
As I said,
Please
before,
read.
I don't know Arabic. So
Well,
how can I give you an accurate?
He doesn't know Arabic, and that's precisely why we have got him an English translation. To read an English translation, what language do you need to know, Darren? German. German, maybe. You can read. If you know English, you can read this.
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say to you.
I don't understand. That's precisely
You're
true.
trying to, you keep saying the same thing. Just read, bro. I don't know because then.
Can anyone read English?
If I read it, then it's just gonna-
Are you happy to read this English translation of the Quran?
No, we
Why is it that Muslims are so ashamed to read their own Quran? Why is this the case?
Go ask somebody that knows Arabic.
Why is this the case?
In Arabic.
Are you an Arabic speaker?
Not native Arabic speaker, no.
And can you read Arabic?
I can read it, I can't translate it.
So you can read Arabic, you won't understand what it says.
Yeah, I'm trying to
So
learn.
clearly then you can't be a Muslim.
Not true.
Wait a second. If you can't
What
read,
Muslim is submission to God. Doesn't mean
Can you
I
read
have to
Arabic?
know Arabic to be a Muslim.
did you hear what just
So
happened
you can
here?
read Arabic,
A
you
Muslim
won't
is someone who
understand
doesn't
what it
think.
Yeah, I'm trying to
So
learn.
clearly
who
you can't be a Muslim.
is someone who doesn't
Question to
read
you
this
again,
and
please.
try
and evaluate. That's not who a Muslim is.
Explain
A
to me
Muslim is
rationally
someone
how
who
does
blindly
Islamic
submits.
Allah exist?
That
Please
is
explain to me
confession.
rationally.
That is before Islam there was
But you
no
implicitly
revelation.
saying-
You said
you
that
are implicitly
when
saying,
when you say
Zechariah,
that you are
that for you to be a
denying
Muslim,
the
you don't
identity
have to read
of
the
the Jews,
Quran.
which is what Islam has taught you to do. So
as a
are you
Muslim-
willing to
Let
say
me ask you this
Islamic
again.
State is anti-Islamic?
Let me ask you
Can you
this
say
again.
that, please?
Well, of course you need to believe in the Bible for you to be a Christian. If
So
you
is it
don't read and
Islamic
believe in
or
the
not?
Bible, how can you be a Christian?
To accept God, I
Question to you again,
accept
please.
God rationally without a book to hold.
Explain to me rationally how does Islamic Allah exist? Please explain to me rationally.
Well, if you think about it, everything in the world is made up of things that could exist or could not exist, i.e. contingent things, right? So right now, you're a contingent being, I'm a contingent being, because I came from something else. I was caused by something else. And that chain, that regression, can't go on for infinity. So therefore, there has to be a... Yeah. Do you want to analyze it or do you want to hear my...
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I'm explaining as to why God needs to exist.
No. The question asked was,
what was the question?
why do you think Islamic Allah
Yeah,
exists?
one God? What,
No.
one God exists.
Islamic Allah
Before
is
the
not
Quran-
any one God.
No, before
Is the
the-
God of the Quran.
But before the Quran came, people were still Muslims if they believed in God. They were still judged accountably. They were still judged...
Can you believe what is happening here?
People before-
Would you believe that?
Yes. People that believed in God before the Quran were still believed in God. It doesn't mean
Do you know what makes someone a Muslim today? Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Islamic State went to Mosul. In Mosul, there were Christians. Christians believed in how many gods? One. Oh, that's your fantasy idea.
There's Unitarian Christians.
Are you a Christian, brother? Are you a Christian, brother? How many gods do you believe in? Are you a Christian, brother? How many gods do you believe in? Excuse me, sir. You may have your counting issues. Learning mathematics might be a bit problematic for you, but deal with them when you deal with your primary school education. A Christian is telling you, another Christian is telling you, and I, as another Christian, am telling you, Christians believe in one God. Let me come back to you. Zechariah, let me come back to you. Went to Mosul. The Islamic militants who went there did not say, oh, you believe in one God and therefore you are a Muslim, we'll leave you alone. Is that what they did?
Where is this?
Excuse me.
I don't know. I never even
You don't know what Mosul is?
I'm sorry, I'm
You
not-
don't know where Mosul is?
No.
Iraq, Islamic State?
Sure. What does that have to do with me saying that you have to believe in
You said anyone who believes in one God is a Muslim. That's what you said. By that definition, now you come to submit to Allah.
to one God?
Islamic.
Allah is one God.
Zechariah, let's do this again.
Yeah.
Please don't confuse me. It's a simple experiment. Let's go through this one step at a time.
Here, I'll make the claim.
Let's-
because
let's-
You're talking about the claim I make. So let me
Who
make it again so you
is
can
a
catch it.
Muslim?
I just wanted to make a claim. Do you believe in one God?
Who is a
Okay,
Muslim?
then he's a Muslim. Do you believe in one God?
I am a Christian. I am not a Muslim.
People that came before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who believed in one God, who came to it rationally, if you believe in the fitrah, which is what an innate disposition towards God is, people that came before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam believed in that innate fitrah, believed in a God, believed in a creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge them on the day of judgment justly, and because they believe in a God means that they're going to go to heaven because they're Muslim. Because revelation didn't exist then, you can't judge them on a revelation they never heard, right? Just for example, if there's a tribe, like there's a isolated tribe right now, can't remember the name, off the coast of Sri Lanka, if they've never heard of the revelation of Islam and yet they believe in a God, God will
Did
judge
you hear how anti-Semitic this guy is? Before Islam, there was no revelation. Claims this guy. Before Islam, there is no revelation. Would you go and say that to a Jew, sir? Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Would you go and say that to a Jew? Did you say that or not? Before Islam, was there a revelation or not?
Before the Quran?
Yes.
Before the Quran, there was, of course, the Injil, the Torah. Yes, I'm saying before anything, before the Torah, before the Bible.
Before anything. Before what?
Before
Anything.
any revelation, before the Torah, before the Bible, before the Quran. If you believed in a God before that, then then God will judge you goodly, justly, because you believed in a God, and you can do that rationally. You don't need a book to believe in a God.
So come back. Let's come back. Let's come back
to believe in the certain attributes of God, like
Let's come back to this again. Answer, please. Answer me, please. Answer me, please. I heard you. I heard what you said. I heard. I'm not here to repeat. I'm not a parrot. I heard what you said. I'm now going to move on to the next question. I'm now going to move on. I'm now.
Move on.
Wait, I want to ask you a question.
The question to you.
Do you know what anti-Semitic means?
The question
What does
is.
anti-Semitic mean?
Well, ignoring the identity of the Jews in any way, shape or form. You inadvertently said, because Islam teaches you that, you inadvertently said that before Islam there was no revelation. You said that, sir. You said that. Now coming back.
Look, just wait. I just wanna. Do you wanna hug me? Do you wanna just discuss? Do you wanna just be civil? Don't shout. I just wanna have a clear discussion.
I'm speaking to many people. Excuse me, Zachariah. Did I so far say to you? Listen to me, please.
All right, sure. Listen.
So far, did I dictate as to how you should speak? Did I do that?
How I should speak? No.
What did I do? Excuse me, wait. I asked you questions
Yes.
and allowed you to answer in the way you want to answer.
Yes.
Did I not?
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me, did I not? Did I not?
you did.
What did you do? What did you do?
I said-
So far, 3 or 4 times you are telling me how I should speak. Is that a sensible thing to
I'm
do?
telling you to speak civilly.
He's trying to divert.
I know he is. I know.
What does civilly have to do with my sound? What does civilly have to do with your sound?
Not just the sound, but the fact that you don't let me speak and you're just talking over me. I say something and you call me anti-Semitic, and then when I try to justify myself,
can I-
you speak over me
can I-
like you're doing now,
Can I let you know why I said you were anti-Semitic?
Yes.
Because you made a statement saying before Islam there was no revelation. You said that. When you say that, you are denying the identity of the Jews, which is what Islam has taught you to do.
Specifically, that the Torah and the Bible existed before the Quran. You put words in my mouth and you insinuate.
It's all on record, don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
If
Don't
you made a
worry.
mistake,
Don't
that's
worry.
fine. If you made a mistake, if you want to correct, that's fine. That's fine. Let's move on. The question simply,
I'll happily move on if you just accept that.
The question-
You know what anti-Semitic means as well. You didn't
The
even
question
explain that.
simply-
What does anti-Semitic mean?
anti-Semitism includes denying the identity of the Jews in any way, shape or form. Also, denying their history in any way, shape or form. Also, that is part of anti-Semitism. So when you deny the fact that Jews got the Torah
Am I
before
denying
you,
Jews exist? No, there's Jews there. I don't
He
deny
never
the Jews.
used the word you.
Don't you believe that the Jews?
do you understand? Do you understand?
You use the word.
Clearly you don't know what identity means.
Don't you believe
Clearly you don't know what identity means. That's fine. We can move on.
Yeah, let's move on. 'cause you know
Coming
what we're
back to
talking
you,
about.
Islamic State militants wanted to wipe out people from Mosul. The question is,
Why do you talk about your Bible, which is clearly
what does this have to do with the Quran?
Because you're throwing
Is the Islamic State anything to do with the Quran?
No.
Be all of us.
Are you willing to say Islamic State is anti-Islamic? Can you say that, please?
We didn't say it's anti-Islamic. We didn't just because it has nothing to do with Islam.
So is it Islamic or not?
So it doesn't make it
Is
anti-Islamic.
Islamic State Islamic or not?
ISIS?
No, I'm
So
saying.
Islamic State is not
You wanna
Islamic.
Let us speak.
Because he's speaking, there are many people here. What?
The ISIS, the Khawarij.
Yeah, they don't.
What is that? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Khawarij, the ISIS.
Yeah. Are they Muslims or not? Are they Islamic or not? So clearly, according to the confession of this gentleman here, Islamic State is not Islamic.
No, it's not.
Well done. Thank you.
That's like saying because there's Muslim grooming gangs, they're following the Quran. It doesn't mean that because they're doing something and they're Muslim, that means they're following the Quran unequivocally.
Well, whether
It doesn't
they-
mean the same thing.
Excuse me.
Politicians are flawed. Politicians are flawed. Doesn't mean that they're following the Quran unequivocally. People can misinterpret the Quran. It even says that in the Quran. So the fact that you're saying that. doesn't
Okay,
mean
let's try and see
Thank you. Move on again.
if Islamic State people were misinterpreting the Quran
Alright, bring
when
on
they
the
went after the Christians in Mosul to kill them, to wipe them out. or force them to convert to Islam, were they being Islamic or not? Let's see.
Do you know what it says in the Quran? It says there is no compulsion in religion. You know what that means?
Let's
It means
try.
You can't force anybody to be a Muslim.
Let's see if that's what the Quran says.
It says that. I'm telling you. It says that in the Quran.
I'm going to read to you now.
From what verse, sorry?
Yeah, what translation?
Surah At-Tawbah, Surah chapter 9,
What verse?
verse 29. Fight against such of those, please read. Fight against such of those who have been given the scripture as believe not in Allah. Those who believe not in Allah, nor the last day, and forbid not that which Allah has forbidden by His messenger, and follow not the religion of truth until they pay the tribute readily, being brought low. Now, wait. No. Let's go through this. Let's go through this.
What's your point?
Excuse me, sir. Please learn to listen. If you can't, move on.
No, I'm not moving on because you're talking a lot of things.
Quran is asking, commanding Muslims, instructing, commanding Muslims to fight. On what basis? On what basis?
It says that in the Bible. Sorry.
On what basis? Fight against. Excuse me, please. Darren, this is Darren. One second. Darren, one second. Darren, 1 second. Fight against. Darren, please, Darren. Please, Darren.
What do you think Jesus
So fight against those who believe.
Right here, bro.
Darren, please. Darren, please. Fight against those.
You can pull up 1,000 Bible verses that are way worse.
Darren.
That doesn't even mean anything. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Fight against those who believe not in Allah. Do you believe in Allah, brother?
Yeah, carry on.
No, I'm reading. I read the entire verse once. Now I'm going through it step by step. Why are you afraid? Do you believe in Allah, brother? You don't even know who Allah is. And so clearly you would not believe in Islamic Allah. But clearly he is a Christian. And therefore he would come under the category of who Muslims have been instructed to fight against. Let me go through. 1 second.
Which category?
Well, which category? The category of people who ought to be fought against.
Yeah, what is that?
Fight against those who have been given the scripture as believe not in Allah, nor the last day. Do you believe in Islamic end time exposition, brother? You don't believe in that. They're coming after you to fight. If anyone wants to follow you, follow Islam.
Carry on, bro.
And forbid not that which Allah has forbidden by His messenger. Who does messenger mean here? So, whatever Muhammad says, you ought to follow, apparently. And if you don't, your Muslims have been instructed to fight against you.
Okay. For what reason?
And follow not the reasons I've given you so far.
No, you haven't.
If you don't follow Muhammad, if you don't follow Islam, they will come after you.
No, that's
What
not
is the reason?
Carry on. Now you're making lies, man.
And follow not
You
the
don't know
religion.
Jizya. Do you know what Jizya is? You don't know.
What is Jizya?
Are you willing to pay the Jizya, sir?
You're talking to a Christian.
Let me ask you, are you willing to pay a slave tax? A second class slave tax.
Can you listen to this man?
Yeah, let's read.
Talk to him. He'll contextualize it
And
for you.
follow not the religion of truth until they pay tribute
Do you know what's the punishment?
readily, being brought low. You will be subdued.
Yes.
Look, yes.
Yeah, but
They're just waiting for that to happen. Yes.
Under what condition?
Yes.
Well, the conditions have been read so far. Haven't you been paying attention? You either should become a Muslim,
Is it on basis of religion?
follow Messenger
Yes.
Muhammad, follow Islam, follow his religion,
Islam, you have to pay zakat. Pay zakat. You know
or
that?
you should be willing
you know
to
that?
be submissive before Muslims.
Okay, let me give you
If you
context.
Now
don't
listen to
do
the answer.
either of them,
Would you like to listen to the answer?
Muslims have been instructed to fight against you.
Okay.
Do you think that's a good idea, brother?
Listen to me.
You're in an echo chamber. Listen to the answer.
Listen
Thank
to
you.
me. You know, under the Caliphate Abu Bakr Siddiq, there are
Please
many-
come here.
There are many Muslims who refuse to pay zakat. Do you know what's the punishment? There's a punishment for people who don't pay zakat, right? Similarly, there are those Jews and Christians in this verse. It's not talking about fighting them on the account of religion. It's on the account that they're not paying the jizya.
All right.
They were treated
So-
so well. Historians
Did you hear?
Thank you.
Did you hear the answer the gentleman gave?
Don't say that, bro.
Did you hear the answer the gentleman gave? The gentleman said, this is against some other time. Do you believe in the Quran to be the eternal word of Islamic Allah, sir? Do you believe in that? Do you need to follow the Quran today? Do you need to follow the Quran today? Do you need to follow the Quran today? If you read this instruction, would you obey Islamic Allah or not? Hey, whoa. Do not run away.
You tell me which
Would you obey the Islamic Allah or not?
You tell me which country's caliphate.
Excuse me, sir. Would you obey the Islamic Allah or not?
Listen to the answer.
Well, if your answer is this is only in Islamic Caliphate, let me better tell you, of course, we would never let you do that here. Clearly, we are not fools to let you do that here. Clearly. But the question is, would you dare to do this anywhere? That's the question. Brother,
Are you ready to listen?
if you live in Saudi Arabia, they'll come after you. Are you happy about this? They live and practice here. Are you Muslim, sir?
You tell me. You are in London right now.
Good. He is a Muslim. Come here, please.
No, I'm here.
Where do you live, sir?
No, why do you want to know?
Where do you live? Where? No, not a particular town. Which country do you live in?
Talk about what you want to talk about, not where you live.
Which country do you live in?
I live in Alaska.
So he lives in Alaska. Which country do you live in?
I live in Alaska.
Yeah, I'm in the
Well, let me talk to someone who lives in the UK. Any Muslim who lives in the
I live in
UK?
the North Pole.
You live in the UK?
No, North Pole.
You live in the North Pole.
Nothing to do. Talk about what you're
Well, it has everything to do with what I'm talking about here, sir.
not listening.
You are living in a country here. Have you been forced to pay jizya here in the UK?
Tax, yeah.
How much tax do you pay? Oh, jizya. All right, jizya is just the tax that the Muslims pay. Do the Muslims pay jizya?
No, but
Clearly. Wow. Don't run from one tree to another. Don't do that.
And you know what's
The
ironic?
question.
Bro, many historians have
I asked the question. Whoa. Zechariah, please make sense. One question at a time. I asked the gentleman, do you pay
No, I don't pay jizya.
jizya?
No, I pay zakat, not jizya.
Clearly, he does
I
not.
pay zakat, not jizya. What does this understand that?
Listen to me carefully. Do you pay any tax as a Muslim,
Yes, I do.
which is more than a tax that a Christian would pay?
No.
So the Christian and a Muslim would pay the same tax in a nation like ours, won't we? Christians and Muslims pay the same tax here, don't we? Don't we? Yes, in the UK.
There's no jizya in
Please,
the UK, no.
yes. Okay, you don't have anything and therefore you don't pay. That's fine. But the question I asked was simple. Are you ill-treated by the fact that you are a Muslim in a nation like ours? That's the question asked.
Hang on. We're talking about a religious state.
Ours.
Don't
Religious
divert.
state. This is a democracy.
Ours.
Is this a
Are you ill-treated?
You're listening to the
Because
answer.
you are a
You're asking the
Muslim,
same question.
are you a second-class citizen in the UK?
Listen to the answer.
But in an Islamic state, you would be, wouldn't you?
It's the same question.
If a Christian, wait a second, brother, they are confessing here. The confession is simple. In the UK, we do not give partial treatment to a Muslim. We don't undermine them. Just because, wait a second. Just by the fact that they are Muslims, no one ill-treats them. They pay the same tax. He can change into a Christian tomorrow and would end up paying the same amount of tax as long as income remains the same. So his religion does not determine his tax level. But in Islam, what do you find? In an Islamic country, Islamic caliphate, like what he said, if you are a Christian, you are to be paying more.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
How much? How much do you pay? How much jizya do you pay, sir? What's jizya percentage, sir?
You're outright lying, bro.
If you don't know, don't say more or less. Keep your mouth shut, sir. Excuse me, sir. If you don't know, let me educate you. Let's read the statement.
Ask me what's the percentage. I don't know.
Let's read here.
What's the percentage?
Let's read here.
What's the percentage?
Let's read here. 1 second. Let's read here. And follow not the religion of truth, but you don't analyze. Let me try and help you analyze. And follow not. So is this a waste of time? In English?
It is if you don't talk to someone.
In English, is this a waste of time?
Like the Bible was in Hebrew, it's still to Greek, then to English, then to
Thank
Asian.
you. What language did you?
I am happy for anyone to read the English Bible. Are you happy for me to read the English Quran?
So I speak in Hebrew.
Not if you don't know Arabic, no. Not if you're going to take
Is this the Quran?
Then it's written in
No,
Greek.
it isn't.
Is this the Quran?
True Quran. No, it's not the true Quran.
Then it's Arabic.
Why is the Islamic Dawah Society spreading this lie if this is not the Quran?
Just because they're different.
Do you have Arabic?
Is this the Quran?
It's an interpretation of the meaning of the Arabic that the Quran was revealed.
This is an interpretation of the power of 2 to the power of 5 of the Quran.
So what's 1 plus 1?
My dear friends, you want to understand if there are double treatment or not? Read here, please. Follow not the religion of truth until they pay. Until.
What verse?
Please, one at a time, please listen. Surah 9, Ayah 29. Until they pay the tribute readily, being brought low. Being brought. Are you listening?
No, because I've heard it already, bro. He's going to get the Arabic. He knows Arabic. He'll explain it to you.
Being brought low. How can he be brought low through a tax? Being brought low. It says being brought low by being made to pay this jizya, sir. Being brought low.
Pay Zakkat, not Jizya.
I know. You are an elitist. Islam.
Did you know Zakkat
Elitist.
is more than the Christians and Jews?
Thank you.
Jizya. That's a fact.
Please come here. Please come here.
I'm here.
It's COVID.
Until they pay the tribute, being brought low. How exactly do you bring a Christian low by making them pay a tax? Please explain to me. How do you make them bring? How do you bring them low?
I don't know the repercussions.
Like
but
this
I
one,
know,
they don't
I
believe
know
the
what
right-
about-
How do you bring them low?
If a Muslim doesn't pay the tax, they get the punishment. Did you know that?
The question is simple. How do you bring someone low by making them pay a tax?
You make war.
How do you bring them low?
You make war.
Any answer?
What was the question?
How do you bring them low?
How do you bring them low here? What happens if you don't?
Excuse me, here everyone pays similar tax structure. Don't worry about this. Have you got any special tax structure, sir?
Lower tax? I think you'd be happy if you had a lower tax to pay.
At least the tax is 1%.
How do you bring someone low by forcing them to pay a tax? How do you force them? How do you bring them low? Any answer whatsoever?
What kind of tax?
Nothing.
Call the police.
To protect them.
Nothing.
Police.
You don't pay tax.
Oh yeah. In an Islamic state, they'll call the police because they respect the
You get
police.
your possessions taken away. You don't pay tax. You get revoked. That's what happens.
So go after. Go on, brother. Did you want to say something?
The question
You're just looking at something a little bit more aggressive.
the question is why the Christian has to pay more than the Muslim?
And why do you? Yeah, sure. And why do you think you have to pay more? Where did you get that from?
Because the real Christianity and the Jews are quite happy about the strong tax.
Under the
They
Muslim
pay.
Caliphate.
Not by
Many
force.
historians, Montgomery Watford,
Like you force him to You need to pay tax 90%.
historians don't rather
He is running. Can you see this? Please look at him.